ABC 57 bringing you a new series called Food for Thought. We're telling the stories of local chefs all across Michiana to answer the question, how has food continued to unite us, especially during a time of isolation? We find our first chef in New Buffalo, Michigan, after leaving the stressful Chicago restaurant scene for a peace in a smaller city. Here's ABC 57's Mary Kaltrider.
On the corner of Buffalo and Chicago Street lies Jackie's Cafe, a place where people come to experience a diverse menu, all prepped by Jackie herself. But how did a celebrity Chicago chef find her way here to a small beach town in Michigan?
I never cooked until I was 30. I worked for the Ritz-Carlton, the Hyatt, and it was basically a management in the front of the house. It was never a cooking job. So when I told my dad that I gave up the hotel job, I gave up the restaurant job, I wanted to be a cook, he almost flipped. At that time when I learned how to cook, it was $1.75 an hour. No overtime. I was working from 7 in the morning and we would finish at midnight. Nobody was upset. This is required of us. I would work for that chef for no pay at all because that's how good he was.
All right, we're going to do opérette de homard au caviar et aux nouilles.
He was esteemed Chicago chef Jean Bonget. Jackie left her hotel job to work for him back in 1980. Bonget owned a famous French restaurant in a suburb north of Chicago, and soon Jackie was his apprentice. But it wasn't Bonget that put our chef on the map. It was actually Julia Childs.
And I was able to observe Julia Childs doing something in her cooking demonstration, and I was watching her, but I was also watching the prop on her table. And I saw this bag overflowing with fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. And then suddenly it clicked on my head is how am I gonna make this into a pastry or a dessert item? So I thought that maybe it'll be pretty cool if I can come up with a bag that's made out of chocolate. So I went through a lot of wax paper bag and it didn't never come through. So 6 weeks into trying to develop that idea, I went into caramel popcorn garret to have my fix. As I was waiting online and I saw this bag that the person was scooping up, and I looked at the bag for the longest time while I was waiting, and then it dawned on me that I could use or try to use that caramel bag to make my chocolate bag. And so I bought 200 of those bags back with me.
200 bags quickly turned into over 250,000 while she was working at Red Light in Chicago. The dessert was a delicious chocolate shell filled with Belgian white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a house-made raspberry sauce. Her creation quickly turning into a Chicago staple. And the cherry on top of it all, she was cooking for the president of China. After 30 years as a highly acclaimed chef in Chicago, Jackie got the call to come work as the head chef for the reopened Stray Dog in New Buffalo. And she never looked back.
And so I came into New Buffalo on a train, the Amtrak. Got off the train, looked around, and I said, this is super nice in New Buffalo. So after I took the job, and I decided to just move up here and stay in New Buffalo.
How are you?
Good.
Are you happy out here?
Yes.
Good. I think that moving to New Buffalo has kind of rounded a few of her edges. She's incredibly talented and very, very skilled in the kitchen and really knows how to manage a team. She can be a bit fiery at times. She'll always be chef, yes. I've had a lot of chefs, but she was the first one who I learned a lot from and kind of invested some back in me, so she'll always be Chef Jackie.
After reopening the Stray Dog, Jackie opened Jackie's Cafe just around the corner 7 years ago. And now this small community and her small cafe mean more than any celebrity chef status.
It didn't really mean anything if you don't support back the community that puts you in the map. So it's the same thing here. You know, even though the community is smaller, but you still have to put in your efforts to support the community. So, you know, being a chef, being famous is nothing if you don't do all that.
The COVID-19 crisis has been challenging for the cafe. Jackie has been relying on catering and her pre-cooked meals for revenue. But despite the hard times, she still believes it's food that connects us most.
I think that we lost that intimacy of able to connect with each other, to be able to say, you know, I love you, let's enjoy our meal and enjoy our company together. I think that this is what people miss the most. So I think that you have to look at it is that food is what brings people together, and food is what makes people happy. And all we need to do is just get over this year, and everybody be healthy, and that's all that's matter. And later on, you know, you can always connect, you can always celebrate, you can always eat.
That was ABC 57's Mary Kaltrider reporting. Now you can find Jackie Chen's Cafe at the corner of West Buffalo Street and Chicago Street in New Buffalo if you want to try out some of her delicious food for yourself and maybe even one of those chocolate bags.